Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Choppin It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, listen. First of all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I hope to have a great show. So let's have some fun this morning. Today's topics, if you're calling in, today's topic is going to be NFL. Who's your coach of the year? You can give me AFC, NFC, or just NFL. Give me your MVP. And who do you think is going to win it all? And I'll give you mine, and I'll start off with mine. And then we'll talk a little basketball as well, especially those New York Knickerbockers. Not Knickerbockers, Knickerbockers, because they're making me sick right now. But let's get started in the NFL. Listen, we have a good weekend of football coming up, not to mention the rematch of the college national title game between Alabama and Clemson. We may speak on that before the day is over as well. But let's start in the NFL. Listen, the NFL has a lot of stories this season. A lot of stories. A lot. Shout out to Joe McDouzian. As he says, Matty Ice MVP, no question. Definitely in the conversation. No denying that. He is in the conversation. Let's be clear. Matt Ryan has returned to Matty Ice, and he is in the conversation of the MVP. But there's a lot of storylines that took place in NFL this season, and Matt Ryan is one of them. The return to Matty Ice. I think the biggest story for me has been the resurgence of the Dallas Cowboys. That has to be the biggest story for me. This team led by two rookies, easily rookies of the year, co-rookies of the year, possibly MVPs, possibly coach of the year, possibly Super Bowl winner. That's the biggest story for me this year. Another big story to me is Cam Newton, the disappointment of Carolina. Matty Ice returns. That's a big story. Belichick maybe put out his best coaching performance ever. Starting the season without Brady for 4 games, losing Gronk for about the last 6 games, and nothing has changed. Maybe the best performance there of his career as far as coaching. So, a lot of storylines. Matthew Stafford going to the playoffs without Megatron. Who had him in here? The resurgence of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, where they looked like they were left for dead. Now they're hosting a playoff game. Just so many storylines to get to, and hopefully we have enough time. And just put your comments out there and call me up if you have the number, and let's chop it up, because this is what this is. Chopping it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get down to my picks. And I'm going to start off with Coach of the Year. And there's quite a few candidates. You know, when you talk about the AFC, Bill Belichick comes to mind. I think what he did was a phenomenal job. What Andy Reid has done in Kansas City is a phenomenal job. Just simply a phenomenal job. Many people has Kansas City as a sleeper to go to the Super Bowl and represent the AFC. And what Jack Del Rio has done in Oakland is phenomenal as well. And I don't know the head coach's name in Miami, but he's done a good job as well. Who had Miami going to the playoffs this year? I know I didn't. What a tremendous job by the head coach down in Miami. But my coach of the year in the AFC is Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think what he has done with a team that is probably one of his weakest defensive teams he's ever had, and to put them in a position where they're hosting a playoff game, and there was a point in the season that we didn't even know that they were going to be a playoff team, and they're going in as one of the hottest teams in the NFL into the playoffs right now. I think what Mike Tomlin has done is just short of marvelous. Yeah, they got out the gate a little suspect, but what they have done It's been tremendous. A tremendous effort. I mean, he rallied the troops. He kept them together. Yes, he may have relied a lot more on his offense between the killer bees over there and Ben Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown. But at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers have rose to the occasion under the watch of Mike Tomlin and has done a phenomenal job getting into the playoffs. And I'm not saying that they're Super Bowl bound, but it would not surprise me if they make it to the Super Bowl. It would not surprise me if they make it to the Super Bowl because right now they're rolling. And the question is, will Miami stay hot? Can Miami go to Pittsburgh and win? I don't think it's possible. I think Miami season comes to a halt in Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh holds home field and get the win and move on to the next round. And I think they get stronger as they go along. I think Mike Tomlin deserves strong considerations for Coach of the Year in the AFC. I think what he's done is a phenomenal job. When I go to the NFC, there's two coaches that come to my mind that I think should be strong considerations for Coach of the Year. And one is McAdoo for the Giants. First year head coach. He comes over there. The defense is revamped. He has to deal with the Odell Beckham, escapades on and off the field. They put the Giants in a position where they are right now, going into the playoffs. He's done a marvelous job. He's the only team to beat the Cowboys. He deserves strong considerations. The defense was questionable going into the offseason. They made some wholesale changes, spent a lot of money, and it pays off. Shout out to Greg. Greg says Miami season's going to end now. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they beat Pittsburgh. In fact, I don't know how much you heard. I heard you say Andy Reid. I did bring him up. But I think Mike Tomlin should be Coach of the Year in the AFC. But Bob McAdoo, what he's done, to me, is fantastic. Then there's the head coach for Atlanta Falcons. I think that he has the Falcons going in the right direction. He should be considered, but not really a threat to win it. But in the NFC, there's only one person that comes to my mind that's deserving of Coach of the Year. I would have never said this years past, but I have to go with Jason Garrett out of Dallas Cowboys. What he has done with this team is just phenomenal. Whether you want to give the credit to the coaches, if you want to give the credit to the coaches, to the players, that's fine. I understand that and I get that. But what he has done is phenomenal. At the same time, whether the players are executing and performing and giving us maybe rookie of the year years or even possibly MVP years, what he's done to rally this troop together, to keep them in line, to put a game plan in place for two rookies that's lining up in the backfield, it's just sensational. These rookies come in, there's already stars on the team. He doesn't let the stars that are previously there overshadows the rookies, whether that's Dez Bryant or Tony Romo. He hasn't succumbed to the fact that it's Tony Romo's team and he should play once he got healthy. He kept the ball in Dak's hand. It just seems like every decision he made has turned out to be right for the Dallas Cowboys. And not to acknowledge Jason Garrett for his coaching, it's actually a travesty. I do think that McAdoo deserved some Coach of the Year consideration, but for me, this is Jason Garrett's award. In the NFC, it is his award. He deserves it. This was a 4-12 team that is led by two rookies and now have home field advantage throughout the playoffs with a 13-3 record. Should have won Game 1, and Game 16's loss was a meaningless game. This team could have easily been 15-1, 14-2. Just sensational. Got a caller coming in. Good morning. Who's on the line?
Oh, man, the guru from Gainesville, Chief.
Hey, what's happening, Greg?
All right. I hear you was talking about the Giants coach as far as the coach again, but you said Dallas coach, right?
Yeah, I believe McAdoo deserves some consideration, but I got to give it to Jason Garrett.
You know, I beat up the Giant guys all the time, man, but I only beat them up when they're doing great. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I think their coach really has. I just think that their coach has honed them in better than anybody this year.
Okay.
You know, for the things that's been going on, you know, the injuries before and all that, I think he's just really. It seems like he's kept them focused,
Okay.
even when they would seem to be getting off track. He always seemed to be able to hone them back in some kind of way, man.
Okay. And you know, we're probably recognizing the same things and just saying it a little bit differently. But I do agree with you that the Giants head coach McAdoo should be considered for coach of the year. The Giants has had a strong season. What I like about this season is that it's not like they overachieved and had this sensational record of 13-3. It seemed like he coached them where they should be. And I tell you what, the NFC is lucky that the Giants are playing Green Bay because I think that's the best game this weekend. And I think the winner is going to be so spent and exhausted that they're going to lose the following week. You understand what I'm saying? So, right. Because that's going to be, to me, I think it's a shootout. I think you're going to see a game somewhere 41-34. And I mean, this is going to be a high-scoring game. And I really think that the winner is clearly going to be the loser next week. But Greg, now that I got you on the line, you can't deny what Jason Garrett has done. I mean, think about this for a second. They should have won Game 1 against the Giants. Game 16 was meaningless. They finished the season at 13-3. They could have easily been 14-2, possibly even 15-1. He's led by 2 rookies. He doesn't succumb to the pressure of putting Romo in behind the center. He doesn't let Dez Bryant overshadow the success of the rookies. I mean, what he's done, and this is Jason Garrett that's probably had his head called for the last couple of seasons, but what he has done is just phenomenal. I mean, you can't deny this guy. You talking about I don't. Yeah, you talking about honing it in and keeping it together. He's done just that, and I have to give him credit. And I'm not a Dallas fan at all. I'm becoming a Dak fan, but you know, hey, like I said before on this show, maybe you've heard it. I'm a fan of a team, but I'm a fan of the sport even bigger and first. You know, it was the sport that I loved before the team. You know, so what happens is I just got to call it the way I see it. And then your guy, Mike Tomlin, I think he should be coach of the year in the AFC. I know Andy Reid and Belichick has had sensational years, Jack Del Rio, but this is probably the worst defensive team that the Pittsburgh Steelers has had.
Oh, yeah, this is the worst defensive team in years, man.
Or ever.
Yeah.
Or ever. You know, I mean, that steel curtain defense, those guys is looking at like, who is this representing us?
Right, exactly.
And for him to hone it together and have this team one of the hottest teams going in the playoffs, hey, he deserves a lot of credit. And you have Bradshaw making that comment about him. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that really hurt me, man.
Yeah, what?
That really hurt me.
What?
You know, I said, well, what are you talking about? Did he say, what did he say? Cheerleading or
You know, it's just Terry Bradshaw being Bradshaw, but you know, we were both raised. If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
That's right.
It's the bottom line.
Especially that team that you've played for years.
Right.
How can you say that, man?
Right.
You know, that just seems fishy. It just seems just little coming out your mouth and came out. It just seems fishy, man.
And, you know, and the Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the most respected teams in the league. Let me tell you, I've been watching football probably since the early 70s. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the 40 years that I've been watching the NFL, has had 3 head coaches.
Oh, yeah.
3 head coaches.
That's right, man.
Not to mention 6 Super Bowls. Not to mention 6 Super Bowl wins. 8 trips? Maybe 8 trips to the Super Bowl? You know, countless playoff games, playoff wins, but only 3 head coaches. Phenomenal.
I love it like that, man. I love it like that, man. Give that person the time to put in that system, get behind them, man.
Phenomenal. So, Greg, I was about to give my Super Bowl prediction. I'd like to hear yours before I give mine.
As far as like you said, as far as the sport, not being biased.
Right.
It's just weird, you know. Just we talking for what we see and what we've been seeing, you know, in the year. I mean, honestly, I think it's gonna be the Patriots. I see the Patriots, and on that other side, believe it or not, I believe it or not, I still see Seattle.
Wow.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Nobody's saying nothing.
Okay.
Nobody's saying nothing about Seattle, man.
Wow.
Everybody's talking about Dallas. Everybody's talking about the Giants. Everybody's talking about Green Bay. You know? I don't know, man. I think them guys, because of their defense, they just sitting in the cut saying, okay.
All right. One last question before I let you go. Who's your MVP?
I'm sorry, man. It's Dak, man.
Okay.
It's Dak, man. I don't see how not. How? What can you if Dak was in the league for 3 years, we wouldn't even be having a problem right now.
Okay.
We wouldn't even be having a problem. If he's a rookie, we wouldn't even be having a problem at all right now.
Let me throw some numbers at you. Dak is throwing for about 3,600 yards. He's got a 69% completion ratio. He's got 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Matty Ice has 4,900 yards thrown. I think he's 38 touchdowns, and he has 7 to 9 interceptions. Now, let me ask you this. I grew up with MVP standing for most valuable player to his team. Not necessarily a person with the most outstanding numbers, okay? I'm not cutting Matty Ice short at all right? I'm in favor of Dak. All right? But does those numbers make a difference in the eyes of the voters or even in your eyes?
No, to me, it's just, that most valuable player is what what's that besides your numbers. You ain't got to have the best numbers, but it's just what you bring to your team. You know, the energy that the team lives off from you. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And how you control the team, how you control what the team does. You understand? As far as going forward, and what you have done to do that, and how you have done it. And when I look at it like that, I just, this young kid came in there, and it's unbelievable, man.
I go with Dak and Dak for this reason, and I'll tell you why. Last year, Dallas Cowboys was 4-12 behind this offensive line with assorted quarterbacks. in the absence of Romo. All right? It showed how valuable Romo was to that team, that they were 4-12. They put this guy, a rookie, behind that same offensive line. Now everybody thinks, well, anybody can do it. They got the best offensive line in the game. Okay, they didn't do it last season. All right? Now you put a 4th-round rookie back there, and throughout the season, he's got pressure from the owner and from the person who he's taken over for, Romo, to succeed. And he does just that. He leads a 4-12 team to a 13-3 record, and they could have easily been 14-2, possibly 15-1, easily. And just alone right there shows to me how valuable this player is to the Dallas Cowboys. It just shows how valuable he is. Never mind the numbers. Never mind. Matty Ice has had all those numbers, but guess what? Matty Ice doesn't even have the record that this guy has for the team.
Yeah, but and you got to remember, Matty Ice been putting up numbers, man.
Yeah, he put up some numbers. Yeah.
Matty Ice been putting up numbers, man. I think we don't know that, man. Like Matty Ice been putting up numbers, man. But it's like I told you, it's not just that you put up numbers, man.
Exactly. I agree with that, Greg. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well,
but a lot of people get that mixed up, though, man. And oh, look at his numbers. Because I was like, yeah, look at his numbers. I mean, I tell him all the time, look at Jordan Summers when he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think Aaron Rodgers deserved it because he didn't do it all year. Right. You can make a case for Brady, but Aaron Rodgers didn't do it all year. I understand. Well, Dak had Elliott, and Elliott should get it. Listen, if I ask you who's the top wide receiver to ever play the game, who are you gonna say, Greg?
If you ask me who was the top wide receiver that ever played it, I mean, I'm biased on that. So, I mean, everybody's gonna say Jerry Rice, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about 99.9% is gonna say Jerry Rice. If I ask you, who's the top quarterback to ever play the game?
The top quarterback that ever played the game?
Uh-huh.
See, I'm so biased, man. I mean, to me, me personally.
Uh-huh.
Me personally, man, I like Peyton, man.
Okay. My point is this. My point is this, is that clearly the best wide receiver to ever play the game is Jerry Rice.
Right.
All right? If I ask you who's the best quarterback to play the game, if I ask 100 people, we might get many different quarterback answers. From Peyton to Montana to Brady to whoever else. Staubach, Bradshaw. The list may go on. But you will never speak of Rice without speaking of Montana first. And I bring that up because the quarterback always gets the press, no matter who he's playing with. The quarterback always gets the press. So when it comes down to Dak and Elliott, why should it be any different? Because you can make the case that Rice made Montana.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, man.
But
he wasn't the most accurate quarterback. Like, let's keep it real now. He wasn't the most accurate quarterback, man.
But
come on, man.
Regardless, Greg, how we feel about the Montana situation, and you can make the case that Rice could have made Montana, opposed to Montana making Rice. But at the end of the day, Montana's always mentioned before Rice.
That is true.
He's always mentioned. So why shouldn't Dak be mentioned before Elliott?
That's right.
You follow me? So to me, it's Dak. The quarterback comes before any other position.
But what I'm saying to you is just his energy alone, man. Just the way they corral around this guy, and the way this guy has played mistake-free just about, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. 4 turnovers.
Come on, you can't ask for nothing else, man, in a quarterback, man.
4 interceptions as a rookie on a 13-3 team in the Dallas Cowboys. One of the most pressure positions in the game. Quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys with Tony Romo on the sideline with an owner that's itching to put him in at any opportunity possible. And all this guy does is keep Tony on the sideline. Tremendous job by him. He should be MVP. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. He should be MVP.
You was looking at a team or trying to get a quarterback, whatever. So how many interceptions he had this year? Oh, he had 4. You got what? 4. That's it?
4.
Wow. I think this guy, ASAP.
With 25 touchdowns, and that's not even counting the ones he ran in. I think he ran in about 5. So.
And he's still not finished.
Nah, he's not finished. Hey, Greg, love the call, man. Love the call. We'll talk it up, chop it up sometime soon. Hey, keep tuning in, and I like your comments, and keep hitting me up with things, and we'll talk about it.
You know I got you.
All right. Stay blessed.
Okay. All right, peace.
And that's Greg the Guru calling in, giving us his take on who should be MVP, who should be Coach of the Year, and definitely appreciate that. So thanks for tuning in, Greg. But yeah, I clearly think that Dak should be MVP. It's gonna be tough. He's a rookie, but and his numbers don't compare to Matty Ice. But I don't think it's all about stats. If you want to talk about numbers, let's talk about 13-3 from 4-12. That's the real number right there. No matter what kind of season Matty Ice had, he couldn't pass Dallas. (4-12) to 13-3. It's a 9-game swing with a rookie quarterback who threw four interceptions to 25 touchdowns and ran in maybe 5, if not slightly more. And my Super Bowl pick, no surprise here, I got Dallas winning it all. I have Dallas winning it all, and it'll be the first time that a rookie quarterback wins a Super Bowl. When you're having this kind of season, it doesn't seem like it ends until you achieve the ultimate. And I believe that Dallas will walk away with the Super Bowl win, the MVP in Dak, the Coach of the Year in Jason Garrett, and the Rookie of the Year in Elliott. It's going to be a clean sweep for the Cowboys. At least in my eyes, it should be a clean sweep for them. We're going to move along to the NBA. Oh, got another caller. No. We're going to move along to the NBA. Somewhat I don't want to. I really don't want to. But I open up my show with addressing them as the New York Knickerbockers. Yeah, the Knickerbockers. Because right now they're making me sick. Just 2 weeks ago, I was on this show talking about Jeff Hornacek should be considered for Coach of the Year. The Knicks is this, the Knicks is doing that. I like what I see. Blah, 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 blah. They've lost 6 in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 10. They dropped from 3rd place in the East to 10th place in the East, a game and a half out of 8th place, 3 games under 500, and with no relief in sight. This is getting ugly and ugly and ugly. Yeah, it was a dramatic finish. It took a fantastic shot, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Lance Thomas, who I'm not a fan of, and I don't like to see him on the court or in a uniform or in shorts, but Lance Thomas played Giannis as well as anyone could have played him on that final possession. But it should never have came down to that final possession. When you at home and you have a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter, you should not be outscored 32-17 in the fourth quarter. You should not have only 3 assists, 2 which were by Melo, compared to 6 turnovers. And you can't have a scoring drop with 2 minutes left in the game. You just simply can't have that. We were struggling to score. You had Kuz, who had a career night, scoring 15 points. We need baskets. Why not bring him back in the game? He had it going on. Why not bring him back in the game? New York was outscored 32-17. There was no ball movement. Like I said, there was 3 assists in the quarter compared to 6 turnovers. I don't even think they shot a foul shot. Oh, wait a minute. Carmelo did go to the line for 2 free throws. He missed 1. You got Noah out there playing with a bum shoulder, giving it all he got. But Jeff, we were in need of scoring. It wasn't like Lance Thomas was shutting down Giannis. Why not bring in Kuz? Why not bring him in? Listen, here's my philosophy. If you don't have the defense to stop anybody or the defense to win a game, and you can't make a trade or acquire someone that's going to bring you that defense that you're looking for, then you need to go with your best offensive unit. Plain and simple. Because at the end of the game, the team that wins is the team with the most points. So if you can't stop nobody, outscore them. That was a debacle at home to take a 14-point lead into the fourth quarter. And don't get me wrong, the Milwaukee Bucks are talented. They're talented. They're long, they're athletic, they're lanky. They got a rising star and Giannis and Jabari Parker. Look like they found another star in Brogdon, the rookie out of Virginia. He started the season on the bench. He's now starting. The future looks good for them. They got Chris Middleton. He'll return sometime. But this is not Cleveland or Golden State. You have to find a way to score more than 17 points. You have to find a way to move the ball around. I'm tired of watching Derrick Rose just takes his man one-on-one to the basket. No matter what, we need some ball movement out there. This one is on Jeff. We're looking to score. Bring Kuz back in. Take Lance Thomas out. This guy can't shoot it in the ocean. Carmelo, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Great game. Clinking it towards the end. Why? Fatigue. You got to do a better job substituting. You got to have some fresh legs in there. Something's got to turn around soon, or the Knicks is in the lottery one more time. And all this talk before the season with Carmelo talking about, yeah, it's going to be special at the Garden. It's going to be epic. It's the same old thing. Need to find a way to get it together and get it together soon. Just horrible. They face Milwaukee now in Milwaukee tomorrow night. You think they're going to win that game? Here's a better question. Is Porzingis going to play? We've lost the last 2 without Porzingis, and we should have won. How do you get beat up by the Magics at home and this 14-point lead squandered in the fourth quarter? Squandered. Just horrible. Just horrible. Listen, I have League Pass. I might be writing Dolan, tell him I need a reimbursement because you guys are not worth my League Pass. I buy it for you guys. This is horrible. Around the association, no Kyrie Irving, no Kevin Love. Looks like Cleveland wasn't a match for the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls, they come into Cleveland, get the win. Good win for them. Still no sighting of Rondo. Who knows what's going to happen with that? I bet Cleveland's licking their chops. They can use a backup point guard. If they divorce him or cut him, look for him to sign with Cleveland. I don't think any other team will take a chance with him. Maybe Golden State. But it's got, well, he doesn't like LeBron, so I don't know how that will work. But, you know, he might just go there for the ring. Who knows? But, yeah. As you can see, I'm still upset about that Knicks game. Listen, right here in my backyard, and I've been giving them a hard time. And I really have been. And that's the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks have been playing some good basketball. They really have been. They've been playing some good basketball. Matter of fact, they're winning They won 7 of the last 10. They're now 3 games over 500. Slowly climbing back up in the East. I think they're at 6 right now. They beat up on the Magic last night. They're playing some good basketball. I'm not sure. There's talks about them trading Millsap. I think it's the right move. They'll gamble to keep him. But Millsap, to his credit, hasn't said anything about what he's going to do for his future. We do know this. He will opt out. But opting out doesn't mean he wants to leave. Opting out is just meaning he's trying to maximize the earning potential he can receive. So, but right now, Atlanta Hawks is playing some good ball. Like I said, they're winners. 7 of the last 10, and they're climbing up on the charts. Golden State, they continue to roll. They beat Portland. Dame Lillard, he sits out on this one. But Portland catches a break as Miami beats Sacramento. As Sacramento is still holding that 8th spot down. And the Hawks look like OKC has cooled off a little bit. Hornets, I should say, look like OKC's cooled off a little bit as Hornets beat OKC. Westbrook did have a good game, but looks like they're cooling off a little bit. But we're approaching the midpoint of the season, and for some teams that's looking for that right piece, there's going to be a lot of trade rumors. I'm not sure what the Knicks can do. They're talking about P.J. Tucker. I like P.J. Tucker, but he only works for the Knicks if the Knicks move Carmelo to the 4 and plays Porzingis at the 5 and have Noah coming off the bench. But at $17 million a year, Noah's not coming off the bench. And you can't bring KP off the bench. But P.J. Tucker would help. He's a very hard-nosed defensive player. I would love to give up Lance Thomas for him. I'm not a big fan of Lance Thomas. I'm just not. But the Knicks just need to get it together, and they need to get it together in a hurry. In a hurry. Because this one is looking quite awful. Quite awful. Well, that's going to do it for the Chopping It Up with Ramel. I appreciate Joe for calling in, and for commenting, and I appreciate Greg for calling in. Yes, indeed. I do appreciate that. And like I said, this is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. I'll see you guys in 24. And we'll talk a little Alabama Clemson on the rematch and the upcoming games for the playoffs. Peace and blessings. I'll see you in 24. Chopping it up with Ramel.